to Bad Larry.
What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Bad Larry, your host for this episode. Today we're checking out the New Mutants, issue number 71, which is part 23 in the Inferno series. I will have to admit, I'm familiar with most of these mutants that encompass the New Mutants team, but I've never actually read a New Mutants comic book. So this is my first New Mutants comic book. Let's check it out. I rate this cover a 76 out of 100. You know, the colors are really bright. The sword is illuminated in fire. That's cool. We see Sam holding Magik's soul sword. But the rest of the New Mutants are kind of sunken in. It's like in quicksand, and it's really hard to see them. So for that reason, I give it the 76 out of 100. C average, not the best, not the worst. I stated previously that I'm familiar with most of these characters, especially Magik. She's one of my favorite characters during that Uncanny X-Men 2-year span from 2013 to 2015, written by Brian Michael Bendis and drawn by Chris Anka and Chris Bacalo, where Magik was an extremely loyal soldier and student to Cyclops. This picture on the right is what I'm most familiar with her in her appearance. However, in the New Mutants in this issue, in this run, she's more of the team leader, the focus, the head honcho. Her appearance is so much more different. It's a bit more jarring, but I like it. I'm really interested to learn more about this version of Magik. And as flipping through my initial scan of this book, I was always asking myself, who is this character in all white with the big blonde hair and the pointy ears? I have no idea who this is. So let me tell you, if I don't know, you probably don't know. And if you do, good for you. This character's name is Gossamer. She's a rare, ancient alien with a humanoid form currently. She has some abilities. She's not a mutant. Again, she's an alien. I don't know why she's attached to the New Mutants in part of this series. Maybe we'll get to that in the future, but right now, I don't know why she's part of this team. But her abilities, she has some short distance flight, she can make herself invisible, and she has empathetic powers. And if you don't think she looks like a spot-on image of Dolly Parton, I don't know who else she could have been modeled after. Magik has teleported her entire New Mutants team using a stepping disc. That's what it's called, this little white disc. That's how they teleport from place to place. And they get there by going through Limbo. That's how they teleport. They start in one place, they go through the stepping disc into Limbo, then out of Limbo to where they need to go. But right now, they're heading into Limbo, and they see that there's a huge army waiting for them, led by the Demon Sin. I love splash pages. I love the idea of a splash page, having 2 pages make one giant picture from the comic book. I wish there were more splash pages. But uh-oh, something's gone awry with the stepping discs. Magik should be able to control them. She's the quote-unquote ruler of Limbo, which she has the power over all these stepping discs and teleportation abilities. But somehow, because of the Inferno crisis, the thing going on between Sam and the Oster, she can no longer control these stepping discs. So now her team is stuck in Limbo, and they're going to have to fight these demons. I do like the way Louise Simonson includes some powers just subtly for those readers who may have picked up this issue just like I have for the very first time, but may not know that Cannonball is immune when he's flying. So nothing can harm him when he's flying as a Cannonball. And then Danny Moonstar here with the spear, apparently she can imagine her mutant powers. She can imagine things and then they come to life. But the main issue is everyone is very confused on why Magik's power, mutant power, has stopped working in her ability to control these stepping discs, and hopefully they're not going to be stuck in Limbo for all eternity. Gossamer is drawn, and here and acting very much like a damsel in distress, holding on to Sunspot when she really doesn't have to. This is kind of her thing. She likes to mess with people emotionally. That's kind of the normal thing for her race of people to do. I like this Warlock character. He's able to transform himself. It's almost like a cartoon, turning himself into a giant hammer. But like I was saying, he makes a comment saying that she's as dangerous. I'm talking about Gossamer. Gossamer is as dangerous enough to her friends without being infected with this virus that all these demons are infected with. Character-wise, I think she's as close to like a poison ivy, the way that she likes to manipulate and control people, but obviously without using plants. It's just her abilities and her powers and what she likes to do. I was reading up on Wolfsbane, this character, and it said that she wasn't able to speak when she's a wolf, but here clearly she is speaking. So obviously they nerfed her power after this run, because here you can see she's clearly speaking when she's in her wolf form. Magik is all, "How dare you try and overthrow me? I won this Limbo fair and square during battle." And I do like what Sim responds to Magik. He says, "Hey, Limbo's yours. This place is just a reflection of your own, I guess, evil that's inside of you." So it's very interesting that the very existence of Limbo in itself is a representation at this point of the darkness that's within Magik specifically. So it's a very cool concept. Magik's soul sword splits him in half like it's supposed to do. Her soul sword is a piece of her soul that can destroy demons at will. That's why she is the ruler. She has the soul sword. That's what makes her the ruler of Limbo. But Sim here is infected with the techno-organic virus, or the transmode virus. This is the same virus that Cable is infected with, Cyclops' son, which caused him to have to be sent to the future. So this techno-organic virus is making Sim invulnerable to the attacks from the Soul Sword. Very interesting. During this little skirmish, Sim overpowers Magik and snatches her Soul Sword away from her. That's not good. Just because Magik created this sword from a piece of her own soul doesn't mean that she can't get it taken away from her. Sim plays a little bit of finders, keepers, losers, weepers. Sim then tries to actually decapitate Magik with her own soul sword, which it doesn't work. Magik's armor morphs independently, creates some spikes blocking the sword, but she's still a prisoner of Sim at this point. But the subliminal concept here is very powerful. This idea that your own soul cannot be the one to destroy you. It's a very powerful message. Magik isn't able to call a stepping disc to teleport her and the team back to Earth yet, but she calls a stepping disc to get them the heck out of there. The green horse-faced Naaster has been spying on this situation the whole time. You see, Naaster is a bit smarter than Sim. Sim is just brute force. Naaster is a little bit more cunning. You see, Naaster also has a bit of a huge crush on Magik. He's in love with her. And he tells Sim, "You better not have hurt her." And Sim's like, "Well, you don't trust me?" And I mean, they are demons. You can't trust anything about what they're doing. Here's where things get a little bit freaky here, people, okay? So just because Earth's time and space is linear as it relates to the space-time continuum, Limbo does not follow those same linear time-space constraints. The same rules of Earth does not apply to Limbo. So when she's stepping through these teleportation discs and going through Limbo, she can be going through space, but also going through time as well. And that's what we're going to see here. And another interesting thing about Limbo is that the longer these people are in Limbo, the humans or mutants, the crazier it makes you, the more demonic it makes you. It may just send you insane, and that's what's happening to Rain here. She's being more affected by the effects of Limbo than the others, driving her a bit mad. And because Limbo doesn't operate based off of the laws of physics of Earth, then in Limbo there can be alternate versions of people and characters and alternate timelines. It's very convoluted, but basically what's going on here is that the 7 or so years that Magik here was trapped in Limbo, learning it and becoming a master of it, she wound up having to kill all the X-Men. She had to kill Nightcrawler, Kitty Pryde, Wolverine, Storm. She had to kill everybody in this kind of alternate reality because, as I said before, the longer you're in Limbo, the crazier, more evil they become. So instead of seeing her friends turn into demons and slowly dissolve into the madness that Limbo's effects cause on them, Magik just kills them. She killed everybody, and it had to have a huge effect on Magik, and that's what we're seeing here is her having to go through this past trauma. This is the place that her stepping stone had brought her to, this place where she had to be a murderer of her own best friends in the X-Men team. So not good emotionally to have to deal with. And also, as a teenager, part of the New Mutants, you don't want to see your friend Magik, your quote-unquote leader, and realize that at one point she was a murderess and murdered all of the people you looked up to, the X-Men. So that's why they're looking at her with these oogly googly eyes, because she is, dangerous. The art transition here is phenomenal. You're getting to see, just like the New Mutants are getting to see Illyana shining in this Limbo dimension, in her home dimension, as it were, in this different light that we've never really seen her. I mean, they understood, oh yeah, she's the queen of Limbo, and that's a demonic place, but they never really spend a lot of time down there. So now that they're kind of stuck here and they've been exploring around it a little bit, they're getting to see Illyana in a different way. She's pretty scary. And now that Sim has Magik's soul sword, he's opening stepping discs and sending all his little demon minions after the New Mutants. They're running from him like they're the bandits running from the law. What's interesting is that Sim, because he has the soul sword, he's controlling the stepping discs and some of the destinations, while Magik is still able to open up stepping discs. So there's some tension between controlling these stepping discs and the destination. And what it looks like is Sim is sending Magik and her team into a dimension of the past, a space-time past, where Magik is forced to relive her very first early years of being down in the Limbo dimension when she's getting basically abused by Sim. Messing with time is always so confusing, right? So they're in the past, they're witnessing the child version of Magik being drug around and abused, and as heroes they want to save her, but Magik tells them no, they can't save her because she has to go through all these trials and learn the magic that will eventually give her the power to take over Limbo's dimension, which will eventually give her the power to get the power back to open the stepping portal back to Earth. So they have to just watch all of these atrocities happen to her younger self and just let them play out, because even though Limbo doesn't act in a linear way in this instance it does, because they're seeing what if they interfere with the events between Sim and Magik, that it could affect their ability to get back to Earth. Speaking of Earth, we jump back to Earth's dimension in the here and now, as it were, and we see Magneto, the White Queen, the Black Queen, and Sebastian Shaw all just chilling, watching the Empire State Building grow. They're all quite amazed by the events going on. Emma Frost, the White Queen, says that even without her telepathy, she could feel the evil in the air. Everything is changing. The mutants are more sensitive than obviously the humans. The humans are just looking around. They're not really paying attention to all of the energies that are going on. And this poor fella here is looking through some binoculars, trying to sightsee, when the darn binoculars come to life demonically and take his eyeballs and use them as his own. Disgusting. Even though Magneto here is considered a villain, he's not crazy. He can't just be letting binoculars snatch out people's eyeballs demonically. So he destroys that binocular thing, and then as the antenna crumbles, well, he's the master of magnetism. He saves everybody. But all the human tourists are going crazy. They're running for the elevators. People, don't run for the elevators. The one element between all these different comic books in the Inferno series is that the elevators are a death trap. And it's no difference in this issue. All those tourists, R.I.P. Back to our teenage New Mutant team. They've just slipped through another stepping disc, and they've gone back in time again into a earlier period in Limbo's dimension, where Noster is running around with a little magician's cloak, and he's ready to make a deal. And FYI, don't make deals with demons. They never follow through with their deal. You're always going to lose at these deals. But anyway, Noster tells Magik he loves her so much that he's going to help her get back to Earth. He's going to help her get a stepping disc to get her and her team back to Earth. The way she's got to do it, she's got to go and get that soul sword back from Sim. She got to fight him and get that sword back, and then he'll help her get her and her team back to Earth, and maybe in the future she'll come back and be his bride. Ew, gross. So Magik takes the deal, and the battle is on. I love the way that she's swimming through the elements of Limbo like it's water, even though it looks like it's Earth. She's just able to transmogrify herself in and through the essence of Earth as she's battling Sim. Very cool. Magik does Beast's favorite move, the double feet kick to the face, and tells Sim, "Give me back that sword, that's mine." And Magik does her best He-Man, "I have the power!" And what this power transformation is unveiling is that subconsciously and psychologically, Magik is accepting this darkness side of her, this dark personality that allows her to be Limbo's queen, ruler. And what transformation is complete? What power upgrade is complete if you don't have a physical transformation as well? And this is her final form. This is her Super Saiyan Magik form, people. And it is rock star status, baby. And with her full power upgrade and her transformation complete, she's able to use their max level of power and overcome all the barriers that's preventing her from creating a stepping stone, stepping disc, and get her team back to Earth. But not where she wanted to. They're getting dropped in right into the midst of the Inferno crisis right over Manhattan, and she's unable to close the stepping disc. Why? All these demons are coming out. She says she can't close the stepping disc. What did I say earlier? Don't make a deal with these demons. They're gonna trick you and fall back on their deal. So yeah, Magik got the power. She got her team back to Earth, but now she can't close the portal, and all these demons are pouring in. And Noster's like, hey, my buddies are just coming along for the ride. Noster tells Magik that he's used her. Sure, she could open the portal, which he couldn't do, to get everybody back to Earth, but Noster has the powerful magic to keep the portal open. So yeah, even though Noster loves Magik and hopes that they'll get together in the future, but right now, a demon's gotta do what a demon's gotta do. You know, which is lie, cheat, and steal. Geezer's gonna geeze. Wow, what a great issue. I rate this issue a 97 out of 100. That's nearly an A+. I love Louise Simonson's writing. I think that she's very clever. We saw Magik transform into her Super Saiyan form in this episode, which I think gives it a high mark. We also saw a lot of backstory, some of the torment that she went through in her 7 years as a child, growing up in Limbo, that we never really got to experience before. So we got some insight into that. We got some rickery going on between Noster and Sim and Magik, which is all very interesting. So great storytelling. The only thing that I thought was slightly lacking is there wasn't a lot of involvement from the other characters, the other New Mutants. This was very much a Magik-driven, protagonist-driven episode. The art I thought was just fine. It wasn't super great. It wasn't bad, but I did enjoy Brett Blevins' art. But let me know what you rate this issue down in the comments below. Make sure to hit that like button. It means a whole heck of a lot to me. Subscribe so you never miss an episode. And stay tuned for next episode, which will be Exterminators number 4. The final issue of the Exterminators little mini-series, which is also written by Louise Simonson, so I'm expecting good things. Until then, be good to one another. Peace out.